Welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the math operators. So one big thing about any program and just about anything, any program you write is going to involve some math. Most of my experience in programming has been with actually very simple math, adding here, adding an item, adding, one item to the inventory, reducing one item from the inventory, loop counts, that sort of thing. And there can be some complex math depending on what kind of program you're writing. But, in reality, most of the time, depending on the type of programming, the most common is just very simple math. Now, C has some operators. So you can operate, do math operations, and there's several operators, and those operators are plus, division, right? Multiplication, so let's say addition, right? Addition, division, multiplication, can't even pronounce it. So, and then we have, okay, let's see, addition, division, multiplication, subtraction, wow. So, subtraction, and you have other ones. But we won't get into those. Not just yet. Not just yet. Maybe down the road. So in order for me to do something like this, like I can say, for example, int x equals 4, int y equals 5, right? And then I could say, I can store the value, or I could compute it directly. I can do my printf, and I can say x times 4, let's start with addition, x plus y equals, and we gotta do percent %d. And then we could just say directly x plus y. And you see that it outputs 9. So that's correct. So we take the same thing and we'll say we'll use the different operations. Okay. I should have took a better number. Something divisible by something or another, because this is integer math. So let's say subtraction and division. No, let's go to multiplication and division, right? So if I take, for example, let's just say instead that I do, so if I'm going to multiply and divide and all that, let's make x 20 and let's make y 5. I think that makes sense. That's simple enough math, okay? And then we actually have to have the operations. Subtraction, multiplication, and division, and let's see what we get. And you can see that it gave us all the correct results. So when you add, multiply, and you can do that, and I mean you can put together some pretty complex things. You can actually add more to this. So there's another operator, and this operator is the modulus operator. So if I say x modulus, it looks like the percent sign, but it doesn't have anything to do with percent. So I do x modulus, right? And we know x is equal to 20, so we say x modulus 7, for example. In other words, x divided by 7, and we take the remainder. So if we divide 20 by 7, you're going to get, 14, and you have a remainder of 6. So we'll say modulus 7 equals %d, and I think I'm right. Let's see. So we say x modulus 7, and it gets a 6. And that's basically the remainder. Basically, when you divide 20 by 7, and then you get the remainder of that. And you might wonder, well, why is that important? Why do we need remainders? And you didn't really need remainders in your math classes. I mean, you accounted for them when you did division in like 4th grade because you weren't working with fractions, but or decimal points. But once you learn decimal points, then they don't even play a vital role because then you can just do the fractional piece, the decimal point. But they matter, and here's why. Because sometimes, let's say you want to count something by 5 or by 20, or you want to find even numbers. Well, even number, the modulus of an even number is 2. So, so if you do x mod 2, and 20 should come out to 0, right? See? Oh, and I need to change my value to 2. Same as if I did 5. So if I was counting or want to find what the even numbers were, I can do by 2. If it's divisible by 5, I can find out 5. If it's divisible by 3, I can do 3s, and so on. So you get the idea. So those are your basic operators, and you'll get to use them. Now sometimes you got to know the order of operations. And let's say, for example, we have something here, and we say, let's go down below this, and we have an integer, and we'll call it z. For now, let's set it to 0. So let's say, what is the result of z? Can you solve this problem? Z equals 4. Let's not even do that. Let's z equals 4 plus 5 times 2. What do you think z is going to give us? Matter of fact, let's not even do that. Let's just output it. Four plus 5 times 2 is %d. What is this going to give us? Let me increase that. I apologize. I was typing away and the camera wasn't capturing what I was typing. So what is this going to give us here? 4 plus 5 times 2. If you said 18, that would be wrong. And the reason for that is because there's order of precedence. Because the order of precedence let me put a whole bunch of characters down here so I can move this up. There we go. Order of, some people call it order of operations. And it works like this. First, you have multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. First, you have multiplication. Why can't I say that? Multiplication and division. Then you have addition, or let's just say, and then addition, and it goes from left to right. So first multiplication and division from left to right, and then addition and subtraction from left to right. So it can be subtraction first, and then addition. Same way with division. So you have that, and you have to keep that in mind when you do this. And really, to avoid a lot of this confusion, what you would want to do instead to get the result that you want, if you use parentheses, and now this will give you actually 18. And that's a better way to write it. I'd rather do that than something else. So that's your order of operations. And so there's other operators, and I won't be talking about those Just keep in mind that they are there. Uh, you have other operators that do certain things, like join things together and, you know, uh, do certain things. I'll put it that way, but we won't get into that. That's a little bit more advanced. We won't get into that right now. So for now, we're just going to focus on these operations, just the basic math operations. One thing to keep in mind also is that you have more operations than this. You think, well, programming and I can only do this. What about if I want to do more complex stuff? There is a math library, part of the standard library, and you can do a lot of things like sine, cosine, all those different kinds of things. They are available there. So you have those available to you, but for now, we're not going to be doing that level of math for this. If you already know that level of math, then once you learn how to program, then it'll be easy for you to apply. But I don't want to get too deep in the weeds with that sort of thing because it's just going to make things more complicated. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching.